In order to stay motivated, there are some things you have to do on a daily basis. Good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being a part of our session this morning. How many of you guys from the Dallas area will be joining us for our upcoming workshop? Saturday is going to be a great day, guys. I am pumped. It's free. And I mean, let me tell you something. There is good information I'm going to be sharing. We have Miss Denise is going to be sharing. Tamika Denise is going to be sharing. Brady Robinson is going to be sharing. And I've spoken with these ladies and I've challenged them. I said, man, listen, we are going into the new year different. We're going into the new year charged up, and we got our mind on our money and our money on our minds. Come on, Jamal. Good morning. How are you guys feeling on this morning? Now, listen. Today is a new day, okay? Today is a new day. And with given any new day, you just got to remind yourself, okay? I'm responsible. I'm responsible. As you rise up this morning, as you get up, you remind yourself, I'm responsible. What am I responsible for, coach? I am responsible for my life. I'm responsible for making the appropriate adjustments. I'm responsible to move forward. I am committed to moving forward. I am committed to moving forward. Vito, are you committed to moving forward? Maria, are you committed to moving forward? Miss Jocelyn, are you committed to moving forward? Now the question is, have you asked yourself those internal questions that need to be asked, and then really take your time and answer the question. The question at hand is, am I getting better? Am I getting better? Now here's what I know is a demotivator. Here's what I know what will suck the life out of you. Here's what I know will cause you to want to throw in the towel. And that is no movement, no results, not getting better. That will frustrate anybody. If you've been putting forth energy, if you've been trying to put out activities, but you're not feeling and seeing any form of progress, let me tell you something, that'll come back and bite you. It'll suck the air out of you. It'll cause you to feel like you ain't doing nothing. But here's what I teach. Okay, here's what I teach. I teach that every day you should be working on getting better. Now here's the deal. Write down your area of frustration. Okay, in your journal, you want to take some time and you want to write down your areas of frustration. Now, what happens is your area of frustration while you're creating a life. What are you doing? You're creating a life. So while you're creating a life, you're taking the time to look at your area of frustration. Now, here's the deal. Your areas of frustration can change. They can change. You have to be very, very interested in having those areas of your life change that needs to change. But they're not going to change if you haven't identified them. The areas in your life that is most challenging are not going to change if you don't identify them. So write this down for me. Somebody write this down, put it in the comment section. I need to identify the areas of my life that are difficult, that are challenging. Write that down. I need to identify the areas of my life that are difficult, that are challenging. Here's the deal. If you don't do nothing, here's what's going to happen. It's going to show up again. And it's going to show up again. And it's going to show up again. And that's the reason why. Okay, that's the reason why there are some people, at the end of the year, they dread it and they go into a bad place because, oh my God, it's Christmas time and I don't have the money and what am I going to wear? And it's like, oh, this is my worst time of the year. And then there are some people, the summertime is the worst time of the year, and the cold is the worst time of the year, and the tax season is the worst time of the year. And that's because, Vito, I believe a lot of people haven't identified, okay, I'm responsible. Okay? I am responsible. Write that down. I am responsible for identifying what is working in my life and what's not working in my life. Somebody write that down. Okay? I'm responsible for identifying what's working in my life and what's not working in my life. I need you to grab that in your spirit, please. Please stick with me this morning. Okay? This is some real workable stuff. Your life can change if you do the work. Your life will change if you do the work. Now, here's what you do. You identify what's working, what's not working. Write it down for me. Okay, I'm appreciative for you guys' engagement. Put it in the comment section, put it in your journal, make a note of it somewhere. I need to identify what's working and what's not working. Now, once you've done that, you've taken the time to write down what's working and what's not working, then what you have to do is you have to really commit to improving in all areas of your life. And your main areas of improvement needs to be, okay? Your main area of improvement needs to be where you are most frustrated. Okay? Your main area, Linda, your main area, Miss Cynthia, your main area, Mother Katie, is where am I most frustrated? Where am I most frustrated? Once you identify what you are most frustrated in, once you've identified where you're most frustrated, that's where I want you to start committing. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for improvement. Hello? Do I have an amen? I am not looking for perfection. I'm looking for improvement. Because, see, there's always room for improvement. There is always room for improvement. I'm not looking for perfection. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not going to beat myself up. There are some of you, you're too hard on yourselves. You're too hard on yourself. And you got to stop that. Success is a journey. It's not a goal. Okay, success is a journey, it's not a goal. Sometimes we get to the destination disease instead of slowing down and enjoying where we are. So I talked about destination disease yesterday, and I want to bring it back here today again because we're not appreciative. We're not appreciative of this process of getting better. That's the secret sauce right there, getting better. I told my wife my goal is to get better as a husband. I told our daughter, I told our son, the goal is I'm getting better as a father. My goal is to get better as a businessman. I was talking to one of my accountability partners, one of my friends, my kingdom brothers yesterday, and I said, my goal is to become better as an entrepreneur. My goal is to get better with my health. My goal is to get better when it comes to representing the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I wanna be a kingdom ambassador, not talking scriptures only, but that thing is threaded through my life. I want to be the epitome of the message of effective living. I want nothing missing, lacking, or broken. Hello, somebody. And so what you got to do is you have to remind yourself. Okay, you have to remind yourself the goal is I want to get better. Now, yesterday could have been a difficult day. A lot of people will allow that to take the air out of their lives, and they're dreading getting out of bed this morning. They're dreading getting out of the house this morning. They're like, I don't want to hear Coach Ricardo again. This brother always on this positive juice. I don't know where he get this positive juice from. And, come on, Miller. It ain't all shiny days. No, it's not all shiny days, but even the rainy days, somebody prayed for it. And I'm telling you, even on the rainy days, let me tell you something, learn how to appreciate it because it is in the rainy days you can connect with your inner self and says, you know what, maybe I can't go out because of the weather, but I can stay in and make some adjustments right where I am. There is always room for improvement. How many of y'all believe that? How many of you can say that with confidence this morning? There's always room for improvement. So you get up and you don't beat yourself up. You got I got a meeting today and these people are difficult. Well, you just let them know I'm making improvement. We need you to make more improvement. I will make more improvement. When I need you to make more improvement today, I will. I will make more improvement today. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to beat myself up. Anytime you find yourself in a very frustrating place, anytime you find yourself becoming extremely overwhelmed, anytime you find yourself literally losing yourself, can't sleep and can't eat and just really leaning towards a more unhealthy approach of living because of environments you have to find yourself dealing with and because of meetings and activities that just it doesn't work for you, but you don't know how to get out. Here's what you got to do. You got to go for what Coach Miller teaches, and that is I'm working on improving every area of my life. And what is not working, I'm going to have to get a plan. Write it down. Get a plan. I got to get a plan. What's not working, I have to get a plan to work myself out of that rut, to work myself out of that problem, to work myself out of that bad place. If it's not working for you and it's hurting you and it's not allowing you to become your best self, you're dreading it. It's causing you to just not be in a good place at any given time. You need to learn how to grow out of that position. It is not the will of God for you to be going from crisis to crisis. Y'all know I've said that before. It is not the will of God for me to be going from crisis to crisis. Write that down. Okay? It is not the will of God for me to be going from crisis to crisis. But coach, I'm not that brave. I'm not that bold. I'm not that confident. I don't have it like that. I'm not like you. I'm not asking you to be like me. I'm asking you to accept the fact that you can change. I'm asking you to accept the fact that if you commit to identifying where your problems preside, what is not working in your life, and you commit to making little adjustments on fixing that. A good example can be the person who hates traffic. Then you can commit to getting up early and leaving at a time that allows you to dump the traffic or change your route. Well, coach, I can't change my route and I can't get up early. Then if you can live like this and this is not working for you, you may want to change jobs. I don't know if I want to change jobs. That's the problem. See, you need to know what you need to know. There are some things you need to know. You need to know what can work for you, what cannot work for you, and you have to identify how can I adjust? How can I adjust? What can I change to make this thing work for me? Why am I living in such a dreaded state? Why am I living in such a bad place where I'm going from problems to problems, from issues to issues? Why am I allowing this? What is it? What am I not letting go that I should let go? What am I accepting that I need no longer accept? 2024 is going to be the same for a lot of people because they don't want to come real with what's the problem. Sometimes it could be simply you. I'm a procrastinator. I'm lazy. I don't want to make difficult decisions. Then your life is going to remain the same. Listen, if you're a procrastinator, if you're lazy and you don't want to make difficult decisions, I don't care which coach, I don't care which doctor, I don't care which pastor, I don't care which leader. At the end of the day, if you don't get up and break procrastination, if you don't get up and push past being lazy, if you don't get up and remove that whole limited belief that I can't make difficult decisions, if those are your kryptonite, if those are the problems that you're struggling with, no one can help you. No one can help you. Here's the deal. You've got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. You've got to get to that point. So this morning I want to talk about this. Here's the deal. Learn how to ask yourself the question. The question is, am I getting better? Now, if you're not getting better, okay, if you're not getting better, you have to ask why. Okay, why? Now, when I'm shy, you don't have to stay shy. You're not a rock. You don't have to stay shy. You can change. Well, you don't understand. I'm an introvert. You don't understand. I don't like people. You don't understand. I'm not good with money. You don't understand. That's just the way I am. That's just the way you've become accustomed to. And now you're claiming that's you. And you've met Ricardo Miller. And Ricardo Miller is telling you you can change if you really want to change. And the things that you really cannot change, for the most part, you can still adjust. You can outsource and you can delegate to ensure that you still win. Because if you're repeatedly doing something that's hurting your potential, if you're repeatedly doing something that is sabotaging your success, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to have to break that in order for you to get to where you're trying to go. Okay? You're going to have to go. So identify. Then once you've identified what you have been working on, here's what I want you to do. I want you to celebrate. Am I making progress? Am I making progress? Watch this. Are the bills getting paid? For a mill, I really wanted more money, but the bills are getting paid. Come on, celebrate the wins. This year, you've paid your bills. Boy, somebody ought to shout, look at God. In spite of my financial position where I thought I may not be able to do some things, this year I've been able to pay some bills. That's a blessing. I've been able to pay my bills. That's a good thing, right? Now, here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. You get to this point where you start thinking, okay, people praise me for my inner strength. People celebrate me and they say, boy, you went through some things, but look at you. You're a fighter. You're continuing to evolve. You're continuing to become better. So you start celebrating your inner strength. What came to break you didn't break you. And there are others who are celebrating you for that. They're highlighting that. They're cheering you on and saying hats off to you. But you're beating yourself up because you want so much more, but you haven't accepted the fact that you have done well. You've done well. You have done well to the point where your inner strength has kept you from losing your mind. How many of you can say you've had moments that tried to break you? How many of you can say that? Megs, how many of you can say that? How many of you can say that, Jamal, that there were moments that tried to break you, that tried to literally ruin you, that caused you, that wanted you to lose your mind? But now, look at you on this beautiful 7th day of December, you're able to say, you know what? I have an inner strength that I've never had. I've survived some stuff and I am better for it. So even in that, you learn to celebrate. Even in that, you learn to appreciate. Even in that, you get to the point where you start to realize, you know what? I'm eternally grateful for my inner strength. I'm eternally grateful for my inner strength. Because here's the deal. I've seen it break other people. I've seen it people thrown in the towel and not committed to coming back in the game and giving themselves a chance to living. I've seen it. But I've decided to stay with it. I've decided not to allow it to do what it's done for others. Here's what I know. You are getting more done. Start looking at yourself. I'm getting more done. I am not getting as much done as I would want, but I'm going to celebrate the fact as I look at my life. Am I getting better? Yes. I am getting more done. I am managing myself better. Okay, are there room for improvement? Yes. But am I managing myself better? You've been hanging around effective living for a while. You got to get to the point where you realize a part of this thing, a major part of this thing, is that you have to be responsible for managing yourself. You're managing yourself. So I asked you early on, you start looking at how am I doing? Joanne, good morning. How am I doing with managing myself? And the question has to be, when you look at yourself, you says, you know what? I'm getting more done. I'm making progress. I'm making adjustments in areas where I don't have to go back to areas to try to fix areas, because the goal is to keep it all going and to do well. I want to keep it all going and I want to do well. And then the next question is, listen, how am I doing? Then you pat yourself on the back and says, you know what? I have been rethinking my life's path. And now that's where I'm at. And as I'm moving into 2024, I'm rethinking some of my life's path. because I've been doing certain things for a long time and they've not been working for me. Anybody's been there? I've been so you have to start rethinking your life's path. Okay, I've been driving the same way, and the same way it's not been working for me. I've been spending my money the same way, and that's not been working for me. I've been hanging with these same people, and it's not been working for me. I've been working the same type of job with the same type of money for the same amount, and that's not working for me. You and I must understand the times we're living in demand that you learn how to rethink your path and make the necessary adjustments to get better out of life. Life will get better when you make better decisions. Okay? Life will get better when you make better decisions. That's how you create a life you don't need a vacation from. Okay? Life has become a little bit more social. You look at your life and you say life has become a lot more social. There was a time you felt alone. You don't feel alone anymore. Start counting those as small wins. Okay, there was a time you couldn't stay at home alone. Now you could stay at home alone. There was a time you didn't know how to appreciate the present. Now you're learning to appreciate the present. There was a time you couldn't look at your bank account. Now you say it may not have what it need to be in there. It's not where it should be. But at the end of the day, I can look at my money and I can tell myself I'm making adjustments. I'm getting better. How many of you can say that with confidence this morning? I'm making adjustments. I'm getting better. Glory to God. I'm making adjustments. I'm getting better. I don't want, when it's all said and done, individuals who had the potential to do great things, they find themselves stuck because they've allowed themselves to go what I call the broad way. It's biblical. The Bible says the broad way leads to death, but narrow leads to life. Okay? The broad way leads to death. Everybody's doing it. I don't want to do what everybody's doing. Okay? I don't want to do what everybody's doing. I want a stress-free life. How many of you can say that with confidence? I want a stress-free life. How many of you can say that on this morning? I want a stress-free life. Now, here's what that's going to demand. That's going to demand you make some adjustment. Okay? And that's going, your way is still going to be the popular way. People say, well, she don't say, she don't do, he don't do, whatever. Let them say what they got to say. At the end of the day, you're not going the broad way. You're going the narrow way. So in other words, I don't do life like everybody else. I don't do life like everybody else. I am making adjustments. I'm getting better. And I'm realizing certain things doesn't work for me. I am not stuck on stupid. And stuck on stupid is doing the same thing every year around the same time with the same people, having come out of it with the same type of frustration. Something's wrong with that. I'm eternally grateful for those of you guys who show up and say, Miller, you know what? I like hanging around you. You ain't all stressed out. You ain't got no side story to tell. I mean, you're like focusing on better. And that's what I'm pushing. I would like to help 1 million people get up every day and say, I'm grateful for having been given a day. I would like to help 1 million people to figure out, listen, how to better manage their lives, assessing where they are. When they look at every area of their life and they say, I need to make a little bit more adjustment over here. I need to make a little bit of adjustment over here. I need to make some adjustment over here. Then life becomes a little bit more sociably clear. It becomes more easily managed. And then you become a little bit more brighter in a dark world. So people say to you, how is it that you have such a pep in your step? How is it that you show up and you don't have no down stories? Be careful. You can have people with titles. You can have people with money. You can have people with degrees. You can have people with talents. You can have people with a lot of resources, but they are frustrated as crap. I mean, literally, they're not in a good place and you're around them and now you're allowing their behavior and their attitudes and the way they show up in the world to direct you because of what they can do and what they have and where they've been and who they are. Let me tell you something. A sick person is a sick person. You got to start identifying the fruit. Okay, the Bible says you will know them by their fruit. When you start to see toxic behavior, unhealthy practices, when you start to see, I wouldn't want to live like that. Listen, you got to start identifying then how would you want to live? How would you want to live? Kendrick, this is the season where I'm asking myself, how do I want to live? Because I see a lot in the world. The world is busy, it's crowded, it has so much going on. The question at hand is, how do I want to live? How do I want to show up in the world? What is it that I'm going to be about on a daily basis that causes me to stay above the prey, that causes me to stay in the narrow way, that causes me not to follow the masses and not feel externally bad? Oh, I feel bad. Everybody else is going this way. I feel bad because everybody else is doing this. I feel bad because at this age I should have. No, 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 no. I am who I am, but by the grace of God, and I'm learning how to make small adjustments in my life. My body is getting better. My finances is getting better. My social circle is getting better. My environment is getting better. Whatever I put my hands to, I figured out how to make those things a little bit better. I like who I'm becoming. Glory to God. How many of you can say that on this morning? I'm working on, listen, I'm working on me. So I'm liking who I'm becoming. Okay? As I close this out, I want you to grab a hold of this, okay? You are feeling better about your life's matter. I like who I'm becoming. I'm not where I should be, but I'm not where I used to be. And I'm grateful for who I'm becoming. I'm grateful for who I am becoming. So this morning, I want to remind you, don't pursue perfection. Pursue improvement. Okay? Pursue improvement. Then ask yourself the question. Am I getting better? And then be okay with the little better. And then be careful. Be careful of the people who tell you you should be so much better. Here's the deal. Maybe you should, maybe you could have, but a lot of times people don't know what you've had to fight through and what you're still fighting through, and what's keeping you from not being able to produce like they've been able to produce. I'm not trying to give you an escape to try to have you to settle for less. What I'm simply saying is you got to really even assess what's motivating you to go so hard to the point where you're not happy with who you are. Why is it that you're going so hard to make the money? Why are you going so hard to try to connect with this type of relationship or these type of environment? Why are you trying to get the car, get the house? Why are you trying to get and if your core why isn't connected to purpose, you're going to discover that you've gotten destination disease. What you're going to discover is you're not going to like yourself after you've acquired it, because you could acquire all things that ultimately you find this huge yearning for. But the challenge is it really the thing that will bring fulfillment? Have you done the work to figure out, why do I go to work and work in a toxic environment only to know that this thing is not even taking me in the direction of where I want to go? Okay, why am I living in a space where I dread going inside? But the truth is, I could have another 30 years in this world. I could have another 20 years in this world. I could have another 10 years in this world. And why am I continuing to live the way that I'm living? I'm loving my one-on-one coaching with my clients because I'm pushing them to get their lives together. When you show up, you should be glad as to who you are. Okay, I'm 48 years old, and I'm amazed. I'm blown away by the level of insecurities that I still struggle with, by the level of trying to please others that still come from a full-grown man at my age. The things that I should have overcome and have had the victory over and had literally soared so much further than that, I'm still holding on as an issue. I had to tell myself, what's going on? And that's why, as I close out, that's why it has to be you versus you. That's why when you think effective living, it's not about anybody else but you discovering you. It's not about anybody else. I just want to discover me so God could be glorified. I don't want to get caught up in the rat race. I don't want to live a life where I've been given a chance to live, but I chose to live like everyone else. And I ended up on the porch of regret with a sad story, giving that same story that everybody else is talking that didn't have to be my story. My story is I'm creating a life I don't need to take a vacation from. My story is I'm responsible for making the adjustments in my life in the areas that's not working for me. My story is that my actions on a daily basis is moving me in the direction of me becoming. I'm becoming more of the person I believe I should be. I'm going to close out with that. Learn to own that statement. I'm becoming more of the person I should be. Now, somebody said, well, Miller, you should have been. I'm not worrying about what I should have been. I'm now committed to who I'm becoming. Okay, I'm not going to beat myself up for having lost time or having given attention to things that I have no longer control over. It's called the past. How many of you know the word for you this morning, for a few of you, is you got to let it go. You've got to let it go. And you got to now commit to becoming the best version of yourself. Okay? Is it going to be easy? No. That's why sometimes you need help. That's why you read books. That's why you show up and commit to programs like this and you connect with services like this, because there are some people in the world that just want to take from you. As long as they're getting better, as long as they can get from you what they need, they're okay. But the question is, hey, listen, man, who am I connected to that's just suckering me, that's taking from me, and I'm not getting better? They're getting better, but I'm not getting better. I am teaching in 2024, if it's not win-win, it's no deal. Okay? Come on. Kim, listen, in 2024, if it's not win-win, it's no deal. When we sit down at the table, you got to get something out of it. I got to get something out of it. We got to get something out of it together to ensure that we're going to do business, we're going to do service, we're going to walk and do life together. But that whole element of allowing people to just take from you and you find yourself losing days, weeks, months, and years, not becoming your best self because you've been suckered, you've been taken advantage of, those days are over. I'm 48 years old. You better identify how old you are and when and what you've got to do to learn how to win in every area of your life. It's your responsibility to adjust, to change, to stop what needs to stop, change, or adjust so God could be glorified. Now, here's the deal. If you don't do nothing different, you're going to keep getting the same result. Don't blame the devil. Blame yourself for not taking responsibility for your life. I'll be back tomorrow because the goal is not perfection. The goal is improvement. Every day, I'm getting better. Can I get 5 of you to say that this morning? Every day, I'm getting better. And I'm not going to let the devil steal my joy. And I'm not going to let anybody abuse me and take advantage of me on my way to fulfilling my potential. God bless you. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.